10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play, and win with Mega Dollar. Big game for big winners.
The Chairman, Board of Directors, Management, and staff of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation wish our esteemed viewers a happy Madaraka Day.
There is a critical role that ICT plays on this journey, and we have to get the building blocks right.
I'm challenging the mindset. Yeah. I'm challenging the mindset and insisting that ICT is the backbone of all sectors and we all have to be engaged exactly to the point that was mentioned earlier by Dr. Kitui. We cannot work in silos. It's mainstreamed and that's my challenge.
It is extremely important that we mobilize a constituency, particularly of young people, who force their politicians that relevant politics must be aligned with our digital inclusion.
Millions of people have come into financial inclusion because of mobile wallets. Developed in Africa, virtually every African country today has a mobile payment system. This is part of the architecture that will drive us forward.
Bishop Margaret Wanjiru of Jesus is Alive Ministry invites you every Tuesday at 10 p.m. for spiritual uplifting messages in The Glory is Here. Join Bishop Margaret Wanjiru as she ministers the Word of God. You cannot afford to miss it.
Mimi naitwa Simon. I'm a radio producer and a presenter. Hii ni story ya struggle yangu. Life kampo ilikuwa ngori, lakini nilijikaza. Hustle yangu ilikuwa kuzanguza mitumba, ndo angalau nijisustain. Niliraukia soko Mangware alafu na changamkia Mbuku baadaye. Masomo ni muhimu kujiendelesha na hii maisha siku hizi. Ilibidi nichukue loan ya HELB ndo inisaidie kulipa fees na vitu kama hizo. Nilikazana mpaka nikagraduate. Sasa niko works, nafanya my dream job. I pay back my loan to HELB monthly via M-Pesa pay bill number 200-800. ID number yangu ndo account number yangu. The hustle continues.
Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.
SportPesa Super Cup imeingia nchini Kenya. Wenyeji Gor, AFC, Sharks na Kakamega Homeboys wanajiandaa kuchuana na timu za Tanzania, Simba, Yanga, Singida na JKU. Mshindi atapata nafasi ya kucheza dhidi ya Everton FC ugani Goodison Park. Usikose nafasi nyingine ya historia. SportPesa Super Cup kuanzia tarehe 3 hadi 10 mwezi Juni mwaka huu.
Good evening, this is Business Insight. Now, the corporate movement has assets valued at 800 billion shillings and has over 22,000 registered SACCOs, or rather societies, and 15 million registered members. Tonight on Business Insight, we're going to be talking about the cooperative movement, its challenges and achievements thereon. I'm Regina Manyara Gital, but before we speak matters business, Resgeko, what's happening on the other side?
Well, thank you so much, Regina Manyara. Of course, it's going to be a beehive activity when you talk matters business. But of course, we have made it such a balanced bulletin because we'll be telling Kenyans why Machako's Governor Alfred Mutua is calling for a lifestyle audit. It's not only for public service servants, but of course, even for political leaders. Of course, we'll be giving details on that. And of course, again, Regina Manyara, remember, tomorrow is Madaraka Day. True. And of course, we'll be giving you details of what exactly is underway in Meru County, where these 55th celebrations will be held, presided over by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Well, kindly do interact with us on our social media platforms. You can tweet me directly at Rose_Gakwo, or you can get us at KBC Channel 1. Our Facebook is KBC Channel 1, and our SMS line is 22126. So much lined up for you. But first, we take a look at the day's highlights.
He accused me of having insulted him. I also told him he also insulted me. We have hurt one another. On my behalf, Ndugu, I ask for your forgiveness.
Call for forgiveness dominates the 16th National Prayer Breakfast meeting as key political leaders led by the president bury their political rivalry. Puzzle of missing billions, street protest as pressure mounts on government to ensure architects of draft do not escape justice. The D-Day is here. Economic boom in Meru as county prepares to play host to the 55th Madaraka Day national celebrations. Welcome back. This is Business Insight. I am Rose Gakwenos. Language interpreter is Susan Thuku. Let's begin. The 16th National Prayer Breakfast meeting was dominated by calls for forgiveness, eliminating graft, and the promise to end a political rivalry that has often threatened the country's unity. It was a rare show of unity as President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, shared a podium with opposition leaders Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka. The leaders, in seeking forgiveness, shared handshakes, hugs, and pleasantries, vowing the message of reconciliation, with which would cascade to the villages. Edward Kabasa with the full report.
The annual National Prayer Breakfast meeting held in Nairobi was like no other.
Revive us again.
It was a moment of truth as political leaders united in prayer, publicly asked for forgiveness, an end to ethnic hatred, and a start of peace building to heal the nation's fabric.
The divisions, the hatred, the tension that has existed between our people from all those generations to now will end with us.
I extend my hand. First and foremost, a hand, as I said in Parliament, asking for forgiveness to anyone who I may, knowingly or unknowingly, injured in any manner whatsoever.
It was a rallying play for Kenyans to forgive and forget to build a new Kenya.
On my behalf and all those behind us, I tender my apology.
I forgive you and may God bless you.
Never again shall a Kenyan deprive a fellow Kenyan of his birthright because of election.
Let us not see forgiveness as a sign of weakness. It's a sign of great strength. It's a sign of great strength.
The war on corruption would also feature prominently, with opposition leaders pledging their support in ending the vice that has negatively impacted the country.
You never hunt a leopard with a dog. To hunt a leopard, you need a lion. And we have a lion in this country. So I told him, use the lion to hunt the leopard.
The head of the judiciary, Chief Justice David Maraga, in calling for cohesion, backed the push to end graft.
You can count on the judiciary. We are together.
on fighting corruption.
The prayer meeting comes at a time Kenya is engaged in the war against the Al-Shabaab terror gang in Somalia. Visiting Somali President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed urged Kenyans not to fall victim to religious hatred being funded by the terror grouping in the name of religion.
We don't need to fall in that trap. And we have to understand that Al-Shabaab is our common enemy and the enemy of all humankind.
The Kenya National Prayer Breakfast is a global event that aims at creating a national leadership that cohesively brings the country together under God. And as the leaders were committing to turn a new leaf, the government has gazetted the 16-member Building Bridges Unity Advisory Task Force, which is expected to table its findings in the next 1 year. When Kenya held its National Prayer Breakfast last year, the country was deeply divided along political lines. But a sharp contrast 1 year later, forgiveness, handshakes and hugs. For Channel 1 News, I am Edward Kabasa.
Well, thank you, Edward Kabasa, for that report. Calls to act tough on orchestrators of ground theft targeting public funds continue to gain traction in the wake of renewed efforts by the government to finally slay the ghost of corruption. Civil society groups are demanding the sacking of any government official implicated in both present and past scandals, with Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua now calling for a lifestyle audit for all public servants as well as political leaders.
The shockwaves of the recent revelations of massive looting in government agencies, among them the National Youth Service and the National Cereals and Produce Board, seems are still oscillating, at least for now. Hundreds of Kenyans poured into the streets of Nairobi Thursday to protest against what they termed as stinging corruption within the public service. Led by civil society groups, the protesters marched from Uhuru Park's Freedom Corner through the city streets, chanting anti-corruption slogans.
This is a struggle where the Kenyan people are with the issues. Every Kenyan is affected. Corruption has bankrupted so many Kenyans. This is one issue that we are all standing together with everybody.
The protesters are demanding immediate resignation and subsequent prosecution of any government official mentioned in past or present corruption cases.
We don't want discrimination in the arresting of these people. We want everybody to be arrested. Everybody, inclusive of his status in this country.
We demand resignations of all heads of ministry who have allegedly been accused of theft.
The protesters presented a petition to the judiciary at the Supreme Court of Kenya and later marched to Parliament buildings, where they too presented a similar petition.
Well, if you cannot beat them, expose them. That's the message coming from this crowd behind me as Kenyans express their anger on the alleged scandals facing the country. And the best thing they could do was these street protests.
The same message was resonating in Mombasa, where the Muslim for Human Rights, Muhuri, called on the judiciary to fully exercise its constitutional mandate in dealing with high-profile corruption cases.
I think laws are not inadequate in Kenya. We have adequate laws, but the problem is the commitment. You know, the commitment is what is lacking in our nation.
Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua weighing in on the matter, calling for a lifestyle audit of all leaders in the wake of the financial scandals that have rocked the country.
Unachunguza, umejenga nyumba 10, uko na apartment, uko na mahoteli, umefanya hiki, hizo pesa umetoa wapi? Uonyeshe.
Government spokesman Eric Kiraithe assuring that those who looted public funds will be brought to book, even as he failed to give the exact figures of monies lost.
Kwa sababu ikumbuko kwamba hii ni sakata iliendelea kwa muda mrefu, na kwa sababu hiyo itachukua wale makachero investigators Itachukua pia accountants, procurement expert muda sana kuhakikisha kwamba wanaweza kutaja kinaganaga na kwa njia ya hakika hasa ni kiasi gapi cha pesa kilichofujwa.
But is the push to have the looters face the law intensified? At least 30 suspects of the NYS scandal who went underground have snapped the Thursday afternoon deadline issued by the Anti-Corruption Court to present themselves before the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. 24 of their co-accused are in remand prison, awaiting a ruling on their bail application, set to be delivered on Tuesday. Samson Kitavi, Channel 1 News.
Residents of Kiritiri in Bere South are living in fear following rampant cases of murder committed by unknown assailants. According to locals, many families have lost their loved ones following the attacks. This comes as 2 Kenyans accused of spying for the Kenyan intelligence services were executed by members of the Al-Shabaab in Somalia.
Residents of Kiritiri, which is one of the driest areas in Bere South constituency, are a worried lot following increased cases of murder allegedly committed by organized criminal gangs. Businesses remain closed, with operators fearing for their lives and locals forced to go home before dusk in fear of attacks.
Sisi na uoga mingi sana, hata sisi wananchi tunaishi hapa sababu hatunjui ile kitu ilitendeka ndio huyo mjamaa ndugu yangu auawe.
The latest incident is an attack on Divisional Education Officer James Mwaniki, who was accosted at 8 p.m. while on his way home from work. The victim sustained severe cuts on his head and finally succumbed to his wounds.
Tunaona ni kama hawajamaliza pengine motivu yao. Sasa tunaona sasa hatujui ni what next vile itafanyika. Pengine hawakuachieve ile hata baada ya kuua huyo James. Tunaona ni kama pengine hawakuachieve vile walikuwa wanataka kuachieve.
The incident came barely a day after a watchman who was guarding a local club was brutally murdered by unknown assailants. Locals blamed police of laxity, saying no one has been apprehended in connection with the killings.
Hakuna washukiwa ambao wamekamatwa na wanangoja kupelekwa kotini. Tunaelezwa kwamba uchunguzi inaendelea kufanywa, lakini kwa kila mauaji ambayo imetendeka hapa Mbeere South, uchunguzi umekuwa unaendelea kwa miaka 4 na hakuna washukiwa ambao wameshikwa na kupelekwa kotini.
We have investigated the issue and we are at the high level of in the level of investigation. We are zeroing in on the culprits and maybe very soon we shall come out with an investigation file.
This comes even as members of the Somali-based Al-Shabaab Raktak militia continue with their reign of terror by executing 2 Kenyans accused of spying for intelligence services. The 2 were killed in full glare of the public in Fino Town, Lower Shabelle region. It remains unclear how many Kenyans are still in the hands of the militants.
Well, in Marytown, or rather Marytown is a beehive of activity ahead of the 5th or 55th Madaraka Day national celebrations to be presided over by President Uhuru Kenyatta in the county. Area leaders say there has been an economic boom in the town, with local leaders local hotels fully booked. This comes as security was heightened and motorists advised to prepare for traffic disruptions as severe roads leading to the stadium will be closed.
With barely 24 hours left to Madaraka Day celebrations, this is the situation at Kinori Stadium in Meru. Last minute sprucing up ahead of the celebrations as the county prepares to play host for the first time since the advent of devolution. And as the event organizers leave nothing to chance to ensure they live up to the billing, the Eastern Regional Coordinator Wycliffe Ogalo says they have increased the number of security officers and advised motorists to plan their travel, as most roads would be inaccessible to facilitate movement of dignitaries.
Tumeweka mpango ya usalama kabambe kule ndani ya stadium na nje, na katika tauni hii yetu. And the retire eneo ya mashariki.
He said only vehicles with special passes will be allowed access, advising members of the public attending the event to plan accordingly and park at designated public parking spots.
Ningependa niwahimize sana washirikiane na traffic officers ambao watawaelekeza kule ambao watafanya parking, na popote ambapo kutakuwa na parking pia ningependa niwahakikishie kwamba tuko na maofisa wa usalama ambao watakuwa wanachunga hizo.
Area leaders commending the government for its decision to have national holiday celebrated at the county level say already there was an increase in business.
This is the greatest event, the greatest celebration ever seen in Meru County. We expect very high profile guests. We expect no other than His Excellency the President. We expect the Deputy President. We expect the Right Honorable former Prime Minister. We expect the Chief Justice. So as the Governor of Meru, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all our visitors, all the distinguished guests to Meru County tomorrow. We are ready for you.
Furaha tele tulio nayo, sababu hiyo ni heshima kuu wakati rais aliamua afanye sherehe hiyo hapa Meru, na hii sherehe iko na bahati ama iko na manufaa katika Meru ama katika kaunti yetu, kwa vile hata nyinyi mkiangalia na mkiona kuna biashara pia ambayo watu wa Meru wataweza kunufaika nayo, watu wa mahoteli, watu wa biashara zile zingine ndogo ndogo. Hii ni manufaa ya sherehe za Madaraka.
Government spokesman Eric Kiraithe says the preparations were complete and urged the public to arrive at the venue early, adding that those who will not attend the celebrations can follow them live on television.
Tomorrow is the Madaraka Day for this year. We are holding it in Meru, and we are holding it on a spirit of national unity.
Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has been solely mandated to provide the live feed for the broadcasts.
The Ministry of Health is lobbying for the inclusion of the management in the school curriculum. Speaking during the launch of the program, stakeholders in the health sector noted that a significant part of the Kenyan population, which include children between the ages of 13 to 15 years, have adopted lifestyles that have pre-exposed them to non-communicable diseases such as hypertension and cardiovascular diseases.
The world marked No Tobacco Day today under the theme Tobacco and Heart Disease. The day coincided with the launch of the National Guidelines for Cardiovascular Diseases Management, which will offer guidance in prevention and screening, as well as standardizing the treatment of cardiovascular diseases across the country. Speaking during the launch of the National Guidelines for Cardiovascular Disease Management, Isabella Karanja of the Tobacco Control Board said while Kenya continues to make strides in the journey of tobacco control, which is the leading cause of related ailments, the country has suffered a setback in the past 4 years trying to battle tobacco control regulation petition in court filed by the tobacco industry.
The country has lost over 4 years trying to battle the regulations petitions in court filed by the tobacco industry. The board and the ministry is confident that the Supreme Court of Kenya will uphold the judgments of the High Court and the Court of Appeal that ruled in favor of the regulations. I appeal to the Honorable Chief Justice to expedite the matter so that regulations can be fully implemented without further undue delay.
Tobacco causes over 2 million deaths from cardiovascular diseases each year, and eliminating its use can prevent millions of people from deaths from heart attack and strokes.
The schools is where you start catching when they're young. Things you learn and ingrained to you as a child always stay with you. So that again, targeting the school health program is also going to be very critical in terms of cardiovascular disease and also in issues related to tobacco. Because at that age is when also peer pressure comes in.
Elsewhere, the National Health Insurance Fund held a joint meeting with the Ministry of Education and health providers drawn from across the country who will be tasked with providing health services to secondary school-going students in a new program that will see all secondary school students covered under the NHIF plan. Last month, President Uhuru Kenyatta launched a 4.5 billion shillings National Hospital Insurance Fund comprehensive medical cover to cater for all students in public secondary schools.
We were going through the modalities of the cover, we are going through the drill to allow them get to know about the package, get the information they deserve so that when they go back to their various health providers, they are able to interact with the schools. We had earlier on told every principal of the school to select a provider near them who will be giving them services, and this is the group we had here today.
The government will pay a premium of 1,350 shillings per student for the 3 million students in public secondary schools as part of its efforts to provide affordable healthcare for all. Caroline Kamar reporting for Channel 1 NewsHour.
Well, thank you, Caroline Kamar, for that report. And of course, earlier on, informing you of the preparations underway in Meru County, I talked of severe roads. Of course, there's supposed to be several roads leading to the stadium will be closed, and that's the reason why motorists have been advised to prepare for the traffic disruptions. Let's now proceed, where over 30 families from a village in Madhya constituency have been forced to flee after giant cracks formed in their homes, raising fears of possible landslides. Several homes have been destroyed by the rifts that manifested during the ongoing rains. Meanwhile, police in Naivasha are investigating an incident where an irate mob raided and torched homesteads of 2 families suspected of engaging in livestock theft. Details of these and other highlights in County News Roundup. Irate residents of Mirera village in Naivasha raided the homesteads of the 2 families, torching their houses and livestock over increased cases of cattle rustling in the area. During the Thursday morning incident, over 10 people escaped death narrowly after the arsonists doused their houses with petrol before setting them ablaze, leaving 4 dairy cattle dead and property worth thousands in ashes. Following the incident, a heavy contingent of police was sent to the area, which for the last couple of months has recorded increased cases of livestock theft.
Kuna kodoo ndugu yangu alikuwa amebeba na pickup. Sasa hizo kodoo mahali alipeleka. Sasa hapo ndipo maneno ilianza, kwa sababu nafikiri kuna watu walikuwa mwenye alikuwa amempea. Sasa kumbe ni mchungaji alikuwa ameuza kodoo za mwenyewe.
And over 30 families from Madhya in Murang'a County have been displaced from their homes after cracks believed to be as a result of geological processes emerged, destroying their property. The residents are calling on the government to intervene and address the matter before it mutates into a disaster.
Maji yamekuja yametulemea, manyumba yamekatika, mengine karibu kuanguka, na tumeomba makao.
Meanwhile, residents of Adongosi in Teso South Sub-County engaged police in running battles to protest the alleged murder of a border operator by police. The protesters claim that one other operator was injured after a police officer turned rogue. In Kakamega County, a 12-year-old boy is fighting for his life after he was allegedly doused in petrol. He was among 2 other boys cutting grass for their animals when their attacker caught up with them and tied their hands, accusing them of trespassing. And as the attacker reached for petrol, 2 of the boys managed to escape. He's then reported to have doused the man with petrol and lit a match, leaving him for dead. Good Samaritans then rushed him to Kakamega Hospital, where he is admitted with over 30% burns. And Lotu Foundation, in partnership with the Hadi Kenya Trust, has donated an ambulance to the Bomet County government as part of its ambulance Mashinani project. The project seeks to ease access to medical services in remote and hard-to-reach areas. Elsewhere, learning activities are said to be disrupted in 4 primary schools in Langobaya area of Malindi sub-county after a non-government organization announced that it may suspend the school feeding program. According to Jackson Kanai of the Karibuni Onlas organization, floods experienced in the area had destroyed thousands of acres of farmland that the organization depended on to feed more than 1,150 pupils in the 4 schools, as well as sponsor 2 students per school to secondary school level. Finally, residents of Samburu County who lost their livestock owing to drought have a chance at restocking under a drought-resilient program by government and the World Bank. The nearly 180 affected households will cumulatively receive 1,820 goats, with each family expected to get at least 10 goats to assist them have a source of livelihood. Well, and that county news roundup now brings us to a very fast break right here on Business Insight. That means today is action-packed when it comes to matters business, and we have a great interview ahead for you. And tonight we're talking matters the cooperatives. In studio, we already have the Commissioner of Cooperatives. This is Mary Mungai, and we also have the Chief Executive Officer of Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, and this is Daniel Marube. Do stand by for that interview, as well as selected stories across the country as well as beyond our borders. The breakfast.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Na mega dola. Unaweza piga shift? Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega. Waweza pika ugali? Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Na mega. Labda waweza fua nguo? Ni mega. Na mega dola. Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play and win with Mega Dollar. The big game for big winners.
The Easy Banking app is your bank anywhere, anytime. Everything you do at the bank is on Easy Banking app. You can use the app to send money, pay bills, buy and pay for goods and services, access easy loans, check the status of your account, save for future goals, and so much more. And now you can enjoy an even better banking experience with the just updated Easy Banking app. Loaded with a great suite of powerful features, so you're always in control of your banking lifestyle wherever you are. Download the Easy Banking app from Google Play Store or App Store and link your Equity Bank account. If you do not have an Equity Bank account, open one hapo from the app. Easy Banking. Experience convenience in life.
The Chairman, Board of Directors, Management and staff of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation wish our esteemed viewers a happy Madaraka Day. SportPesa Super Cup has come to Kenya. Kenya's own Gor, AFC, Sharks and Kakamega Homeboys are getting ready to take on Tanzania's finest, Simba, Yanga, Singida and JKU. The champion will face one of EPL greats, Everton FC at Goodison Park. Don't miss another moment of football history. SportPesa Super Cup from the 3rd to 10th of June.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, an amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes.
OMG, Jill, umerudi?
Did I just leave say OMG?
Siku hizi pia mimi lugha naielewa.
Shiro, where's my baby?
I dare you jaribu kunipiga.
Mike, apologize to Shiro now.
Or else what?
Don't you dare raise your voice at me. Why are you rattling with everyone?
It's simple. I call it the Joel's effect.
Now tell me, what jobs does my dad tell you to go and do for him?
You really want to know?
I wonder how your friendship with Jill will be like when she finds out that you're the one who took out her uncle.
You've been there, rat me out to jail, Paul.
How do you even live with all these things happening? Unishingeje hizi mastaff zote?
Paul, I'm the string that puts all this together.
Fresh.
Good evening, glad you're still here with us. This is Business Insight and I'm Regina Manyara Gitam. Now, the Communications Authority of Kenya has renewed its fight against the use of unregistered SIM cards by threatening more punitive action against mobile phone service operators. Director General Francis Wengusi says phone operators would be held responsible for activating and the use of unregistered SIM cards within their network. This comes amid reemergence of a SIM card hawking that has seen at least 62 agents arrested and convicted.
The Communications Authority of Kenya has ordered mobile network operators to immediately switch off all unregistered SIM cards lest legal action is taken against them. The authority says they are yet to audit the number of unregistered SIM cards in the country, with mobile operators putting the number at 4 million. So far, 62 agents have been apprehended and convicted for hawking SIM cards as the Communication Authority intensifies the fight against the use of unregistered SIM cards.
The continued use of unregistered SIM cards is not only criminal, but also a threat to national security. Unregistered SIM cards are misused to perpetuate crime, including money laundering, kidnapping, malicious calls, cybercrime, and mobile money fraud, among others.
Noting that the use of unregistered SIM cards in a counterfeit device makes it difficult for law enforcement agencies to track down criminals, Wangusi says Communication Authority plans more punitive penalties for mobile phone service operators who activate or allow the use of unregistered SIM cards in their network.
So we want to ensure that we are going to hold the mobile operators accountable for whoever sells their SIM cards. And I think this is what we are planning in terms of improving the law in order for us to be able to net them. We also want to stiffen penalties on mobile operators insofar as this matter is concerned.
He says the device management system, whose implementation was halted by the High Court, is not for spying purposes, but to facilitate denial of services for those using counterfeit devices.
The DMS, or device management system, is not a tool for spying on consumers. Rather, it is meant to facilitate denial of service to counterfeit devices, and therefore protect consumers from dangers of using substandard devices, as well as tracing those who have committed crimes on the networks.
Those convicted for using unregistered SIM cards face up to 12 months in prison or a fine of $500,000 or both penalties.
The Parliamentary Committee on Trade and Commerce wants to push for stiffer penalties on counterfeit goods in the country. This comes as state agencies destroyed counterfeit goods worth 37 million shillings and issued a stern warning to unscrupulous business people importing fake products into the country. The assorted goods comprises of stationery, cell phones, clothes, and sanitary towels. Well, that's the story that we have for you, but we're going to bring it forth to you when it's now good and ready. But now let us look at why Kenya is an ideal tourist destination. Well, Nyali in Mombasa County is renowned for its wide sandy beaches and largely appreciated by divers. The reef in Nyali offers safety and food to almost 1 million species of marine life and birds, as highlighted by Irene Mchumodim on this week's edition of Magical Scenes.
Tucked
In Mombasa County lies a beautiful shoreline filled with exotic and scenic views.
Maisha mazuri, bichi mzuri, utalii wako ni kama hawa tunawaona hapo. Tunaona raha nyingi hapo, kila mtu yuko na raha.
Lapped by the Indian Ocean, Nyali in North Coastal's white sandy beach, stretching 20 kilometers long, dotted with palm trees, connoting a sense of relaxation.
To make the coast Miami coast in Kenya.
And as the saying goes, life is at ease with the ocean breeze. Spending time watching the ocean can be therapeutic, especially when you know you have the beach at your disposal anytime you need it. Nyali Beach is protected by coral reefs and forms part of the Mombasa Marine Reserve. The reef plays an important role in the ocean ecosystem, providing safety and food to almost 1 million species of marine life, making the destination a paradise for divers.
Zamani ilikuwa tunalisha mikate, lakini kwa sasa hii hatulishi mkate. Warden alisema tusilishe mkate. Kwa hivyo tunafanya kazi kule kushirikiana na KWS. Hapa tunatumia glass ambayo ni mask. Hiyo mask ndio tunatumia. Hapa wanaogelea wakiangalia samaki rangi tofauti tofauti. Hapa huwa wanafurahikia zaidi. Hata wakati mwingine unaweza pata mgeni akwambia hapa tusiondoke mpaka tutosheke. Sasa inabidi ufuate zile sheria ambazo wageni wanataka.
The Mombasa Marine National Park and Reserve lies between Mtwapa and Tudo Creeks, with its blue waters ideal for snorkeling and diving. The marine is home to a colorful variety of marine species, among them the crabs, starfish, turtles, sea grasses, and interesting migratory birds such as the crab plovers. The birds here are magical to watch during nature walks, with their striking beauty catching your attention.
Kwa park ameenjoy kwa zebrafish, ameenjoy na zebrafish. Trip imekuwa mzuri, na nasema holiday yake imekuwa fantastic.
Wakenya wote mlio Nairobi, mlio mahali kokote kwa hii nchi inaitwa Kenya, nyote mkaribishwa.
And before you cap your visit to this part of coastal Kenya, do sample the region's traditional meals and way of life from the chain of accommodation facilities along the shores. Irene Mchuma Odin, Magical Sense in the county of Mombasa.
As we had mentioned earlier, is that tonight you're going to be putting the cooperative movement in perspective. Just a few facts about the cooperative movement. Locally, Kenya's cooperative movement is indeed vibrant, and with an asset base valued at 800 billion shillings and 22,000 registered SACCOs. Further to that is that the existing cooperative policy is also heavily hinged on the internationally recognized cooperative principles of voluntary and open membership, democratic member control, economic participation by members. Fourthly, the autonomy and independence is also very key for the cooperative movement, and education, training and information are provided for in Section 4 of the CAC Act. Now, however, the cooperative sector is concerned with amendments to the Cooperative Societies Act and the SACCO Societies Act proposed by the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill of 2018, the National Assembly Bill 12 of 2018, the SLB. Well, what we seek, these are just a few details of what the bill seeks to amend the Section 2 of the Cooperative Societies Act by introducing the definition by virtue of seeking to amend Section 17 of the Act. What this means in simple terms is that they're going to create an avenue to have special impact members. Well, now before we get to talk about what this really means for the cooperative movement, we are on a fact-finding mission, is that why is the cooperative movement so much concerned about the proposed amendments and what other challenges are hindering the lucrative cooperative movement from carrying out its mandate. So we do take a short break. When we return, we get digging.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4?
Na mega dola.
Unaweza piga chef?
Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega.
Waweza pika ugali?
Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Na mega dola.
Labda waweza fua nguo?
Ni mega. Na mega dola.
Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 295888, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play and win with Mega Dollar. The big game for big winners.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Tell me, what jobs does my dad tell you to go and do for him?
You really want to know?
I wonder how your friendship with Jill will be like when she finds out that you're the one who took out her uncle.
Ask you for a favor. I need you to help me with Leonardo.
What happened to him?
This will sound very strange, but I need you to keep an eye on him. Yolanda told me that she found mud on his shoes, Corolla. Mud.
Ignacia, that can't be.
Good evening, this is Business Insight, and tonight we're looking at the cooperative movement, its achievements and its challenges in executing its core business or operations. Joining me in studio is a CEO of the Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, that is Mr. Daniel Marube. On the far end is the Commissioner for Cooperative Development, Madam Mary Mungai. Welcome. And tonight we're also asking you, the ones who's watching us back at home, are the current penalties for employers on non-remittance effective? Do you find them effective? You can reach us on Twitter at Ray Manyara or at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter. The SMS line is there on your screen at 22162 and join in the conversation. Now to the main issue. For the last 2 weeks, the cooperative movement has been very vocal in saying that the proposed amendments to the cooperative movement, the miscellaneous amendment bills for 2018 are not, they're draconian, they're not inclusive, and they're going to affect how business is conducted by the cooperatives. Now let us look at the sections of Section 2 and Section 17 that talk of the creation of a new class of members. How will, first of all, this new class of members, when you say special impact members, who are they and how will they affect membership at large? Let's start from there, Mr. Marube.
Yeah, thank you very much. In the definition of who the cooperative is and members, we do not have words like special. All members who join a cooperative society with a common reason or purpose, they have equal rights. We have, it's a democratically run organization by the members and autonomous, owned by the members themselves. So for you to join a cooperative society, you have to to apply, contribute either shares or buy shares, or have your monthly or annual subscription to the cooperative society. And within the cooperative society, we have rules. These rules, will state what a member is, how to join, your rights as a member, and your obligation. One of the obligation is, we call those rules bylaws. Those bylaws will guide on how our activities in the cooperative society will be. It does not create classes of people. We come in and each person has one vote.
So there is no special in its current form without the proposed amendments.
Yes.
Everyone is equal regardless of the number of shares. So Madam Mungai, from where you sit from a regulator point of view, this creation of special impact members, from where you sit, how is it going to change the dynamics, especially where membership, rights and autonomy is concerned?
I think, thank you very much. I think first and foremost is to understand that cooperatives is run through a legal framework called Cooperative Societies Act. And the mandate of the Commissioner is for growth and development of cooperatives. And what guides the formation of this unique business model under cooperative is what you've just said, the principles of cooperative. So by the proposal that we have a new definition of cooperative impact group in the cooperative, means that there will be an ordinary member and there will be a social impact member. That's already a classification. Whereas in cooperatives, all members are equal. It is an open and voluntary, because now again the social impact group says that they are not going to ascribe or to adhere to the bylaws that are already being adhered by that particular cooperative. So it looks like it's a new structure within an existing framework that is guided by the Cooperative Societies Act and the society's bylaws. So we're saying we'll have an ordinary member, we'll have a social impact member. So that in itself already violates the principles of cooperative. So by having that particular group and the proposals that they have proposed now in the SACCO Act, because the proposals in the definition comes in the Cooperative Societies Act, bringing a separate member of who does not even participate economically, which is one of the principles that if you're a member, economic participation is a must. You must vote, you must undergo training, and you must have concern for the community. You must. So for the social impact, it looks like there's going to be a parallel structure from what the cooperative is, but they will be enjoying the cover of the cooperative society, the registered cooperative society. So that brings in an issue.
So it's a violation of what the cooperative
principles
stand
for. Yeah.
Mr. Marubi, I can see you nodding while Madam Mungai is actually speaking. Yes. Well, now let's come back to the issue of the members' rights, the autonomy, and the membership itself. There's something Madam Mungai has said is that these special impact members will be within yet acting without. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yes, the thinking here is that cooperative societies don't have sufficient capital for their growth, and that sometimes some cooperative societies could be waiting in a queue to be served. They don't get their loans instantly. And therefore, they are coming with a carrot saying, here we are, we have money, we have capital, we can bring in the money so that you can expand your business and you can give your members as much money as they want. And they are saying that in order for us to do that, we need you to address your members in an AGM to pass a simple resolution which will be approved by the minister. And we don't know which minister, whether it's the county government minister or the national government minister, to allow these impact, social impact members who are not defined and who are not, whose names will not appear in our register, and who will not buy shares in our cooperative society, all contribute their monthly contributions, come in to an already existing cooperative society, and when they come in, they will create a fund.
Yeah, the special fund.
And when they come in and create a special fund within our cooperative society, that particular fund they will also create an advisory board and an investment committee. these 3 committees would be independent of the existing committees. So here we are, you have invited these people into our house. They will form a corporate company within us. And the membership of these committees comes only from these special impact members, leaving out our members.
Other ordinary members who were previously members of the
remember, we already have management committees. So we are like having 2 committees, 2 management committees within the society. And they're saying, as they manage this fund, because it's their money, so they have to take interest of their funding.
So the special impact members are to come on board.
Yes.
Give money to the cooperatives.
Yes.
But manage, or rather decide on what investments that this SACCOs or cooperatives are going to do without the impact or input of other ordinary members.
Exactly.
What of the risks? Exposing the members to risks in terms of investment. We know investments, how will this affect investments for SACCOs?
I think one of the critical issues here is that members in a SACCO, we are talking about SACCOs, which are about 12,300 in Kenya, and 176 of those are what we call deposit-taking SACCOs that are licensed. So they're saying this special fund, after it's created by the social impact members. The ordinary member has no role in that.
Okay.
However, the normal member has come together to save and borrow. This is a social impact fund, impact member with a special fund. It means then the member does not have to save. There is a basket here with money, which they can borrow, and then after they borrow and pay the interest on the loan, it is only the social impact member who will benefit. The normal member will not. So in this in itself actually violates even the constitution, because we say, in the Vision 2030, where we are talking about savings by Kenyans, saving mobilization. So it is people with a lot of money. The ordinary member, if there's money to get from across, he will get it. So we are saying it's also kind of creating a captive market for the social impact, denying the member the zeal to save and borrow and do the issues. So when the risks now come into play, if the member does not pay, it behoves the society to ensure it pays. And remember, the society, like my friend has said, the management committee is not actually not involved in the social impact lineage, because he has said they will create a fund, they will create an investment committee, they will create a trustee who is a company outside to come and manage the loan issuance. So what is the management committee doing there? It means then eventually the SACCO, as we know it today, will not exist.
The proponents of these amendments are arguing that the creation of these organs, the special fund, the investment committee, the special fund trustee, is going to ensure that liquidity issues that most SACCOs find themselves into are a thing of the past. But are you differing with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let me tell you. What they are saying, they want to take advantage of our brand name that we have built for a very long time. They're saying, you rightfully said we have saved more about
almost $1 trillion.
About $1 trillion shillings.
I said this.
And they're saying we will come in and the investment committee can borrow and do businesses out there without our consultation. But our deposits of the members, the capital that the members have built, will be the collateral. It's a security. So that one risk, in the event that their businesses doesn't do well, our deposits is at risk. Number two, they're saying when they do very well, all our members, the members who borrow from this fund, it is the responsibility of the cooperative society to make sure that the collections have been made. And when the profits are made, we don't share at all. But remember, in our corporate, in the current situation, the way we are, when we make surpluses, we share amongst ourselves equally, depending on the number of shares you have. So the risk number three is that when they come in, they are going to take over. They are taking over our businesses. So we are saying, if for that reason we don't want them in our house.
And I think I just want to add there, the idea might not be drastically wrong, but we are saying if there is a group that has money and want to create liquidity, we have openings. They can form an investment group cooperative, which maybe then we work on modalities. In our cooperative policy, we have what we call Cooperative Development Fund. And in this Cooperative Development Fund, we foresee a situation where, what are they called, angel financing or credit that is very affordable, that we can create that kind of a pool, and cooperatives or circles that have challenges in liquidity can borrow for various programs or even to fund. So we are saying the idea would have been good, but the way it was brought, because there was no consultation, then it's really the way it has come through that miscellaneous amendment, it's not good for the country.
Let's digress just a little bit. Tonight we were asking our audiences, like, what are the current penalties for employers who fail to remit their members' deductions effective? So we were asking this question, and I'm sure we're already getting feedback. But now let's look at the regulation point of view from where you sit. What action, first of all, how is this affecting SACCO operations? Maybe Marubi, you can give us that. Then we look at the actions that you've taken.
Yeah, indeed, that's a very big challenge. We have organizations where their employees are members of a cooperative society, and they have given instructions to their employer that as soon at the end of the month, before you pay me, I want to develop a culture of savings. Please deduct 5,000 shillings from my pay and remit it to my cooperative society. But what we are seeing, quite a number of cooperative societies, organizations, both private and even parastatals, and even government organizations are doing, after deducting, they are not remitting. They are funding to do their own, they are funding their activities using people's funds. It's just like stealing from their employers, really, because you have paid me my salary and you are cutting part of it and you are using it. And we are saying it's illegal. It's morally illegal. And what we are doing together as CAK, Cooperative Alliance, together with the Office of the Commissioner, we are combining the list of all these organizations who are not remitting their funds to their cooperative societies. We will be publishing them, and we will be taking them to court.
Now, short of publishing and taking them to court, Madam Mungai, we can agree that this is not something that has just begun happening. It has been happening for eons, over and over. What action have you taken from a regulator point of view? And if you have the statistics about actions that have been taken or what is provided for in the law, kindly share.
Okay. I think the SACCO model, especially for employer-based SACCOs, it really saved the employer. Because I remember in those early days, the issues of salary in advance, salary advance, and whatever, the employer giving the employees money alone here and there are almost something of the past. The model was very good because the employer, like he has rightly said, the employee directs how much that should be going to the SACCO. However, that model has truly worked because as we saw from your statistics, we have in excess of 600 billion in savings, deposits from members. From the same SACCOs, we have seen like there's excess also of 590B that has been borrowed by members. So it's a good interplay. However, in the recent past, we have seen employers not remitting. And because of that, the law, the Cooperative Societies Law, Section 35, actually stipulates if an employer refuses or does not remit money in good time, they're supposed to undergo some penalties. And the penalty is normally 5% every month that for the money that has not been remitted. So that is there. And I can assure you that before this law was amended, the amount of money that was outstanding there was in excess, I think, of 800B. But now the recovery was done very well. The only thing that I want to ask the SACCO leaders is that please do not wait until the load or the non-remittance has grown to such a big figure, because we are seeing people coming to complain maybe 5 years down the line, 4 years down the line. If we compound that interest, the interest even becomes, the penalty becomes even much more than the principal. The actions that we take normally, is that we ask the SACCO through the county. Please remember again, this is a devolved function and we work very closely with the counties for them to compile and fill the amount not remitted with the penalty that has accrued. After they bring to us, we write notification to the employer asking what is happening, can you give an explanation, because somebody could maybe have a lot of financial issues. If they fail to do that, then we appoint an agent, and normally these are banks. The only catch here is that it is the SACCO that has to bring the information to us to tell us if it's KBC, let me use that KBC banks with 1, 2, 3 when we appoint those ones as agents. So it behoves the SACCO to ensure that they provide that information. So after we write letters, the agency, the banks are supposed to immediately freeze whatever amount of money that is in the banks. And they talk to, I'll take an example, to KBC, and they say, this has been done, we have frozen your account, what do we do? Ideally, they're supposed to remit that money to the SACCO directly, but because of good relationship, they first do that. But eventually, we have given them a time frame, which they should write to us and tell us there is money, and we have done this, and after some time, they're supposed to remit to the SACCO. That has not been happening. So the next step, okay, for some banks, we have no problem. Actually, we have seen a lot of goodwill from some banks, but there are other banks that are not doing that. What we are now doing with the AG's office is getting court orders so that they can cover themselves, because there's also relationship between them and their clients, and then they remit to the SACCO. But I can admit there's areas that we are slow because we get accounts. When we freeze those accounts, they have no money. So by the time they get another account, it takes time. So I know it's a slow process, and it is worrying us because we would want to ensure that the SACCO stays in business and not closed, because chances are some of them are suffering, members are not being given their loans, they are not getting any dividends on their loans, so it becomes, interest on their deposits, so it's becoming a challenge.
So if you may allow me to take a response here that we've gotten on SMS. Someone says, my deductions are made diligently each and every month, but I end up not getting dividends because my employer has not remitted my funds to my SACCO. Is that right?
It's criminal. We have said that's a criminal, activity.
And what about I think the question is withholding the dividends.
Unfortunately, the SACCO is not at fault. It is the employer that has brought this malfunction in the business model. And as he rightly says, it is not right, it is criminal, and we've even seen, we are going to revise this law to ensure that that becomes almost like an economic sabotage, because it is unfair. It is unfair to a member whose salary has been deducted and an employer is keeping that money and using it for other purposes other than what it was intended. Because for the member who was not a SACCO member, they get all their money, they get their full salary.
Now another question comes in, is the issue of, you've said that the SACCOs have to notify the regulator in form of writing about the non-remittance. What if, what action can a member, leave alone the leaders of the SACCOs, what action can they take? Because let's be very honest, we'll find we have complacency in some SACCOs, and some have become, that's the order of business. They cannot come forth because of vested interest here and there. But what can these members do to safeguard their savings?
In actual fact, that's a pertinent question, because in some quarters, we have seen where, sorry to say this, where top management is the same, they're the same in SACCO management, and that brings a conflict of interest, because if it's a finance manager in a company and is the same chair, he will not be able to dissociate himself. We have seen models, and I'm not saying this is the perfect model, but we have seen models where the top leadership actually has left leadership of the SACCO to middle level group, so that they are able to dissociate that. Here is where the challenge comes. When you are a leader in a cooperative society, really complacency is not an option. And that's where members, if they see their leaders are not performing, they have avenues in law to recall the leadership and appoint people who would be able to drive and to stand for their rights. So what I'm saying is that we have seen that issue, but that is why our office was created. Let me say, even if the the functions of cooperative have been devolved. We have even seen challenges where the county itself is not remitting, so the officer in that particular office will not be able to say or to freeze an account of a county. So when they bring it the matter to the head office, then we are able to do that without any interference. So what we are trying to say is that there is that conflict, but when you are a leader of a SACCO running financial services for members, poor members, they have an option of recalling leadership or actually writing letters to us to complain so that we can ask the leadership on what grounds.
Yes. Marube, what's your take about this? I can see you nodding.
Yes, what I'm saying is that, first of all, we have agreed it's criminal. It's wrong for an organization to take the employees' money to do business. You can't fund your organization's business using your poor employees' salary. Number two, CAK, we have a desk, we have an officer now who can be contacted to help a cooperative society. If a member feels like there's a problem, we are ready to come and support them to fill those notifications and send them to the commissioner's office, and I will be there. I mean, we push them to make sure that this action is being taken, because the impact is very big. Some of the cooperative societies members have never been given loans for 6 months, and because the money is being held by the employer, who should be put in jail, because really what they are doing is criminal. It's sabotaging the economy of the poor people. So it's something very bad, and it's affecting us and our operations.
We're reminding you tonight, we're talking about the cooperative movement, and we're asking you tonight, do you think that the penalties that are meted up on organizations or other employers that fail to remit member funds is effective or punitive enough? Do continue sending in your SMSs to 22162 right there on your screen, or even you can reach me at Twitter at Ray Manyara or at KBC Channel 1 as we continue having this discussion. Now let's go back to the proposed amendments bill. 2 weeks ago, the cooperative movement came out fighting and saying that these amendments are not good, are not good for the cooperative movement, and we've already established that. And you were to write to the clerk of the National Assembly to have this recalled because there was no it was not a consultative move. Now that you wrote to the clerk of the National Assembly 2 weeks down the line, have you had feedback?
Thank you. Let me say, number one, that Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, CAK, is the apex umbrella organization for the cooperative movement in Kenya. We draw our powers from Cap 490 of the Cooperative Societies Act, and we are created by the members to represent them and to do advocacy on various issues and representing them locally and internationally. And one of our core mandate is to participate in the process on a legal and policy framework that affects the operations of the cooperative societies in Kenya. We want to say that we were never approached. We did not participate in this. It came as a surprise to us, and therefore we are saying this particular process, the manner in which it has been brought up, it's not good. It's not good at all. It does not meet any standards. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
I think maybe on that, we made our submission. And I am sure when they have the sitting, they will call us. That is one of the public participation, and that's why they were asking for memorandums. So I think when the time is ripe, I'm sure we will be called and we'll present our position.
So in the worst case scenario, that this does not go the way you stakeholders want it to go, what next? We are looking here at an asset base of almost $1 trillion shillings. And the proponents are saying that the creation of these organs, the special impact, the special fund, the investment committee, all these are geared to ensuring that SACCOs have liquidity. So there's what they're seeing and there's what the other stakeholders are seeing. So what next in the event that this is actually taken up?
There are two things. Number one, yes, it is true, we have submitted our objection to the clerk as it was required. Number two, we have written also to request that if there be any discussion on this matter, we be included, that we can go and explain further our reasoning on and give give justification on why we are refusing this. Now, I have no doubt in my mind that this particular amendment will not see the day. The members of parliament will never allow this to happen, because the people in the rural areas, the very people who earn less than $1 a day are the same members who are society members. So I believe and I trust completely that our members, I have confidence in the members of parliament that they will never allow such a bad law to pass. Number two, in the event that it passes, that will be disaster in this country.
What do you mean disaster?
It will be a total sabotage. It's killing the membership. We have now over 15 million members. Assuming every member has one or two members of the family he supports, you can see that the cooperative movement is supporting more than 3/4 of the Kenyan population. You will kill the people, both economically and socially. Why would somebody want to kill the 3/4 of the Kenyan people?
Good question.
I am very optimistic.
I'm
very optimistic because even Parliament has a circle. We have champions that have been pushed to Parliament through cooperative movement, and they have cooperative issues at heart. They understand what cooperative is. So I have no doubt that we shall be called to present our views. This thing will be discussed, and I am sure, like my brother said, that bill will not go on. It will be sent back for involvement of the various stakeholders. I have no doubt about that.
So we have not already seen members trying to pull out their monies or their funds from various circles in jitters. Has it already started jitters in the cooperative movement? Maybe Madam Mr. Mariba, sorry.
You know, people are waiting. We are waiting to see the discussions. As I said, we are very optimistic that this is a bad law. It will not go through. And that too, as leaders, we have that kind of confidence. And soon you'll be seeing a lot of leaders meetings in various regions in the country, making noise about it, and everybody's hearing about it. Because you know, if members run for their deposits in the circles and corporate societies, this country will never be the same again. It will never.
Now, because we are not calling on doom onto the cooperative movement, now let us look at the government has laid down a very ambitious plan, the Big Four plan. And if we look at the statistics between 2016 and 2017, actually 2016 is that the circle, the cooperative movements dispensed over 70,000 loans. Their value, you're going to tell us. So it means that the cooperative movement has a financial muscle. How are you strategically placing yourself to actually participate in the Big Four agenda? Mr. Marube.
Let me take, for example, the health, universal health. You know, most of the loans that we give our members goes to fund medical bills in the country. For our members in the hospitals, going to India and so forth. And so what we wanted to do is we would like to participate in this agenda of universal health by becoming agents of NHIF, so that we can recruit all our members and their families to have an what do we call it, the NHIF card, to be members. And number two, we know that some of our agriculture-based cooperatives, they get their money or bonuses once or twice a year. So we are encouraging our cooperative societies and membership and leadership to pay for the members, the whatever required by NHIF, and then recover that from their members once their coffee, their rice, their maize, their produce
the
is
returns
paid.
come.
Yes, yes.
So the future is bright for the cooperative movement.
Yes,
yes.
And the
parting shot, Madam Munge.
Oh, parting shot.
Yes.
I haven't said it. The issue of cooperative involvement in housing is evident. We are big players. Our cooperative movement is a big player in housing. Like this year alone, cooperative without any government interventions was projecting to do 6,000 units. They have already done 2,000. The number is growing. So with government intervention and the government providing bulk infrastructure, which makes the cost of housing very difficult, they will, I'm sure they will play into that space. On the issue of SACCOs, they are big players, like you said, 600 billion deposits, over 600 billion deposits. They are also going to play in the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. They are going to play in the National Housing Fund, and cooperatives still have a lot of land that is not been made liquid. They are also going to get into an MOU with the National Housing Fund, and they will play that part. On agriculture, Githunguri is an example. The value addition, I think that is the way to go, and also to involve the youth. On the health, even IRA now has recognized the cooperative, and it has commissioned a study so that they can use them, the cooperatives, as SACCO, what you call SACCO assurance, as agents for insurance. Yes, so I think the future for cooperative is bright. Cooperatives can be in any sector of this economy, and they haven't exploited that, but we are sure the way it's going, cooperative is the way to go, because it's an all-inclusive kind of business model which carries especially the lower base of the pyramid onto the fold. Thank you.
You've heard it from the stakeholders there. That is the Cooperative Commissioner of Development, that is Mary Mungai, and the CEO of the Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, Mr. Daniel Marube. Yes, the future is bright for the cooperative movement going forward, and stakeholders are optimistic that the proposed amendments to the SACCO law, or rather cooperative movement law, are not going to come to pass, because first of all, they'll be infringing on the very spirit that the cooperative movement was formed on. Now, looking at stories that are continuing to make headlines in the business circles, is that efficient land management and planning by the national and county governments will also help deepen mortgage uptake among Kenyans. Vision 2030 Delivery Board Chairman James Mwangi says this will also ease construction costs for developers and immensely grow mortgage uptake from the current 24,000. On this week's episode of Brick by Brick, Ronald Owili speaks with the Vision 2030 Delivery Board Chairman on the role to be played by the private sector in the government's affordable housing plan.
The third medium-term plan of the Vision 2030, running from 2018 to 2022, gives top priority to the social pillar.
As you implement this vision, Daktari, there are others that you've mentioned that have been added, the big four, and housing in particular comes to mind. It's a huge project, 500,000 housing units. The cost is massive. What is the interlinkages that you're looking at between the private sector and the government?
Zeroing down on housing, it means on the social pillar, we needed to upgrade and uplift the living conditions of Kenyans, because they are educated, they are healthy, and they are hungry. So food becomes very critical. But also, where are they sleeping? Where do they walk in? Does the dwellings give them a feeling of pride, esteem as a person? The good thing is that this is not being delivered by government. The government is a coordinator of this housing. The government is coming to provide infrastructure like RAD, and the policy is appropriate. For instance, allow us to regenerate Easterlands. So the policy must come from the government and the county government to allow that RAD to be accessible to the private sector for development. So from day one, because RAD is not a major component, you are reducing 40% of the cost of the house. Then funding has been mobilized globally, such that the developers are not necessarily using local capital. There is no constraint. However, the banking industry is now of age. Every year, the Kenyan banking industry disburses about 1.2 trillion shillings in form of loans. So if we are talking about 100,000 houses, that would be affordable within the financial sector for the final beneficiary.
But also let's look at the critical component that has been there for a while now. Looking at the mortgage, for instance, active accounts are barely 30,000. What do you make of that?
It is true, in a country with 45 million or 47 million people, having just 24,000 mortgages, it's a dismal performance. But our biggest challenge with the mortgages has been the structure of our economy. our economy is on 90% informal. And so the question of organizing resources in an informal, in a predictable way, predictable cash flows is where has been the challenge. And that is why the people in the informal sector are the ones who have missed in the opportunity. And as a result, what they have done is to build their own dwellings and houses from cash. So the mortgages has only been for the formal sector. The second problem is that land has been held for speculative purpose, and consequently land constitutes about 40% of the cost of housing, making it almost unaffordable for the majority of Kenyans. So that is where the challenge is, and that is why this proposal is intended to solve the problem of land as an input, the issue of policy and infrastructure. Sometimes we have land, but we can't develop it as a private sector because there is no electricity, there is no water, there is no sewer, there are no roads. And that is government contribution. Now the government is coming and saying we'll develop all that infrastructure to allow citizens to build houses cheaply. And we are organizing that development. And then they are giving incentives, like tax incentives for developers of people who build more than 100 houses. So essentially, everything has been put together to focus on this problem. And that's why I'm optimistic. This time, the bottlenecks have been removed. We'll get it right.
Already, the government plans to set up the Kenya Mortgage Refinancing Company with initial capital of 16 billion shillings for banks to offer long-term loans.
This is the initial provider of mortgage at a fixed rate of interest. So that is where the incentive comes from. And the government has the ability then to borrow globally and against the mortgages that it's taken. So now most likely we'll have securitization in Kenya such that we don't have to have the challenges that we have had in the past of securities in the country.
Dr. Mwangi further expects property development and ownership to be aided through Capital Markets Real Estate Investment Trust.
LEADS will play a very significant role in building these 500,000 houses, in the sense that it will be a vehicle of mobilizing capital. It will be also a vehicle of ensuring those who have money but don't need houses are also able to participate. They will be the readers, and they will be benefiting from an economic gain from this big opportunity. That ability to bring capital of non-house interest, such that we create an opportunity of a return other than an opportunity of a mortgage itself. That is a brilliant way of mobilizing capital, and it can be very, very big. And lastly, it makes the cost of securitizing houses very easy, because it's at the LEADS level. It is people pulling up together their resources and owning an estate. So instead of owning a house which you can't afford, you own maybe the kitchen, and somebody else owns the toilet, and another one owns the bedroom. So it becomes very interesting. And then you have tax benefits. So essentially the returns on this venture might be very strong for those who have money. And that is the incentive, because money follows opportunities. Those are insightful. Really followed that.
For Brick by Brick, I'm Ronald Willie.
Very in-depth analysis there by Ronald Willie. Now, the success of the early pilot scheme will play a critical role of attracting more companies to invest in the logistical and technical infrastructure to support the full fleet development. Talo Oil Kenya Managing Director Martin Mbogo says the long-term plan is to drill enough wells that will see Kenya exporting between 80,000 and 100 barrels of crude oil daily. Trucking of crude oil from Lokichar to Mombasa will commence this Sunday, with officials expecting Kenya to make the first export in December after accumulating 400,000 barrels of crude oil. The Talo MD told our reporter Caroline Jenga that the early oil pilot scheme will offer Kenya valuable information on the crude oil trading systems and processes. Here's a report.
Well, thank you for joining us on Business Insight. My name is Carol Jenga, and today we are talking to Martin Mbogo, who is the Managing Director for Tullow Oil Kenya. And as you very well know, on Sunday, President Uhuru Kenyatta will be flagging off the oil transportation from Lokichar to Mombasa, and Kenya will join the League of Oil-Producing Countries. And just to give us a brief, or to just share with us what to expect on Sunday, is Martin Mbogo. Thank you for joining us. Now, maybe you can share with us a little bit about what will happen on Sunday and what should we expect.
So Sunday marks a big milestone on the journey of oil and gas exploration and production in Kenya, from a discovery back in 2012 by Tullow and its partners to actual movement or evacuation of oil. At the moment, we have over 80,000 barrels of oil. What will be happening then is proving the socio construct or the socio dynamics that you can actually get oil onshore and move it for storage and then effectively thereafter to the commercial world.
Okay, so what is the purpose of the adding oil pellets scheme?
So in oil and gas exploration, and for this to be commercially viable, you essentially have three main challenges. You have a technical challenge, or you have a commercial challenge, and you have a social challenge. On the technical side, we would like to understand the reservoirs better. When you drill a well, how will this well flow? How many barrels of oil would it produce, and consistently for how long? That is something we are expecting to prove and gain better insights through this early oil pilot scheme. Secondly, from a socio concept proof, many onshore projects suffer from not so much the technical issues but the social aspects. What's the benefit in it for communities? What's the benefit in it for government? So to be able to prove and send a signal that this can work, we think it is prudent to test this on a small scale, 2,000 barrels, as opposed to on a big scale. The success of this will encourage not just ourselves and investors, but other investors to put in a lot more funding to get into a final investment destination. I wish to remind viewers and everyone else that this is a first step of several. The end game here will be to deliver about 80,000 barrels of oil per day evacuated through a pipeline to Lamu in about 2021-2022. So what we are seeing here is a dress rehearsal with a small volume, which the expenses or costs are disproportionately small relative to the big benefits that this opportunity accords us.
Okay, so how many trucks will be flagged off on Sunday, and also how many days will it take to transport the 80,000 barrels of oil?
So the Sunday event is symbolic. When this is warmed up and geared up and it's in full production, we expect to load up to 14 to 15 trucks every day. We expect the journey time round trip from the fields that's in Lokichar area down to Mombasa and back to be about 8 to 10 days. We will engage about 100 trucks when we are moving 2,000 barrels of oil. So you can clearly see that there is opportunity for employment in excess of about 110 when you get to the ramped production of about 2,000 barrels. So jobs, direct jobs in excess of 110, and obviously indirect jobs.
Okay, so transporting oil to Lokichar will be for storage, not for exportation. Maybe you can clarify that for because most Kenyans are believing that once you start exporting oil, there will be no buying more of petroleum products into the Kenyan markets.
So what we'll be moving is crude oil as opposed to refined finished oil. The reason we're talking of storage in Mombasa is because you need to accumulate it before you can load on to a sea vessel and take it out to the market. The smaller parcel size of vessels will be in the order of 200,000 barrels, increasingly to 500,000. So inadvertently, you need to accumulate that volume from Turkana and use existing facilities down in Mombasa, which is quite cost effective, to put the costs down for Kenyans, and thereafter test the commercial opportunity that the product represents in the international market.
Okay, Okay, so how have you addressed, we know the president did agree on the revenue sharing agreement weeks ago. In your end, how are you ensuring that the community benefits from this project?
So I think we need to hail the efforts by the president and the leadership in Turkana, and I should also add the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining in brokering a deal, should I call it so, in establishing a regulatory framework, especially on benefit sharing. That is related to the revenues that would accrue from the sale of crude oil. Over and above that, Tullow has been investing on socio investment projects in the areas of healthcare, in the areas of education, in the areas of environment, to the tune of over $600 million. Beneficiaries in education exceed 10,000, and we have infrastructure out there in healthcare that attends to more than 20,000 families. I think more importantly, I would also like to bring this. Water is, we are in a water-stressed area. We use water in our operations, but over and above that, we have promoted good neighborliness by sharing water that we have accessed. And this is supporting, again, over 20,000 families. Of course, being a pastoralist community, not forgetting that it's also the watering point for animals. So significant benefits working hand in hand with communities. And lastly but not least, we, especially in the areas of education and capacity building, we have expanded the space by supporting young graduates on master's programs in oil and gas, adding up to over 75 opportunities. Remembering that over 40% of those opportunities have actually gone to communities in Turkana.
Okay. Now with the construction of the pipeline, are you bidding to build the pipeline?
So we have begun initial design work and planning for the pipeline. It begins with the design, so contracts have been awarded for the midstream section, which is a pipeline section, to do the design, size the pipe, understand if there is a need for pumping stations, how many there would be, what size they would be, the potential need, if any, for storage down in Lamu. So that work is ongoing. We expect that the initial designs will be completed within the year.
So how much are you investing in that?
That's a decision yet to come. What we know is early estimates now that the pipeline will probably be a $1 billion project. And we expect that there is more work to be done for more drilling of wells, more facilities to be put in Turkana, a central processing facility which is in tandem with one of the big four in manufacturing and processing to the tune of about $2 billion. So all in all, you're looking at potential inflows of about $3 billion to get oil flowing into Lamu over the next 5 years or so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, enter paybill number 295888, account name KBC, and amount from 10 shillings or more. Then select your 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. You can win up to 30 million shillings. Start playing now and win. Mega Dollar. Big winners every 4 minutes.
Daughter Andrea.
Welcome, and let's talk sports. National Rugby Sevens team head coach Innocent Simiyu says they will go for